Hi guys, welcome back to our AHORA, right? Okay, sorry, I should have asked you that before. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, my name is Jenny.
My name is Pedro.
Welcome back to AHORA Podcast Episode 2, where we will be talking and getting to know Pedro a little bit more, where we will be talking about your upbringing, childhood, where you are now, your education, all that good stuff. But while he will be doing that, he's also going to be, doing a little canvas for us. What are you going to be drawing? Do you have something in mind?
You'll just have to find out.
Okay, I guess we'll just have to find out.
Yeah.
I do have a couple questions that I went ahead and put in my notes section here. So first things first, Pedro, we're going to be talking about your early life.
Okay.
Early childhood.
Okay.
What was your childhood like? Do you have a favorite memory from growing up?
My childhood. I did really enjoy kind of like the experience, the familiar experience, being around family a lot. When my family moved, my mom, my dad, when they moved to Minnesota from Illinois, it was my mom, my dad, my sister, who's a year older than me, and then my aunt and her two girls. So my cousins, and they were about 1 year younger than me and then 2 years younger than me, because she had two. So, as far as like my favorite memory, I would have to say our trip to Florida. So it was in the summer, and it was like out of nowhere. I didn't think we were going to Florida at all, but next thing you know, I had a test, and my mom was like, she called the office took me in, and they're like, all right, you're getting picked up. And it was like noon. It was like May or June, early June. And what had happened was there's a van. We had like a whole van, and everybody was in there. It was my aunt, my mom, my dad, my cousins, and then my sister. And for one whole day, we were driving to Florida because we didn't have the money to fly, obviously. So for one whole day, it was like, what? How much is that? Mom, dad, 3. So it's not about like 7 of us, 8 of us in the car. For 24 hours, that was how long it took us to get to Florida. 24 hours we were driving. And I think just, being in Florida, it was for our uncle's wedding. But being there in Florida, we were outside all day long. We were from like 7 a.m. all the way till the pool closed at like 9 a.m. I wasn't a big fan of the ocean, even though we were right by the ocean. Wasn't a big fan of it. But I ended up getting super dark. Like I got orange, and I think now, as the summer goes on, I don't get brown anymore. I get orange, and I think that's because of the Florida sun. But anyways, I think that would have to be my favorite childhood memory. Now that I think about it.
Okay.
Was our Florida trip. I think we were there for a week.
Nice. So can you remind us, are you born and raised in Minnesota or no?
No, I was born in Joliet, Illinois, but before I was 1, my family ended up moving to Minnesota. And so technically I was born in Illinois but raised in Minnesota. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember any of that? Do you remember like growing up here?
Do I remember growing up here in Minnesota?
Well, yeah, like your early childhood. Like, do you remember like how it was?
Yeah. So my early childhood. So we moved to, if you guys are familiar, we moved to Crystal, Minnesota. Was our first place ever, and I told you, it was behind the Target there in Crystal. That was like our apartments, and again, it was my dad, my mom, my aunt, my cousins, my sister, and I. And
a full house.
It was a 2-bedroom. so it was hectic. It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and gosh, I think we were there until I was like, I think like 5 or 6. But as far as like remembering that, I just remembered I used to get beat a lot. Not beat a lot, but I used to get disciplined a lot because CPS because I was a very hyperactive kid. And so that's kind of what I remember from, being here in Minnesota. And at least the first couple of memories, I was just so hyper. It was like by the ear. It was, getting smacked, getting disciplined and all that. But
Your typical Hispanic household.
yeah, so that was that. That was pretty much my childhood.
Okay.
Or my at least what I remember, first things I remember from moving to Minnesota.
How were you in school?
From the stories that my parents had told, I was very hyperactive again. The one that I think that Jenny wants me to say is when I was like in second grade. I remember who the teachers were too. But in second grade, I was so hyperactive that like I would raise my hand up and answer the question at the same time. And I think the teachers were tired of that. And so they would purposely tell me to go get a drink of water.
To get him out of the room.
just to have a break from me. Not even like, they weren't even saying it just for like, oh, because I needed it. No, they were saying it because they wanted me to they wanted a break. And so I thought that was really funny. But that's kind of like, that's how I was pretty much growing up all the way up until sixth grade. I kind of mellowed out. But yeah.
Okay. Hopefully our kids don't come out that way. Anyways, how did your school experience shape who you are today? And that could be middle school leading up to college.
Okay, so elementary school, I don't know, I made a lot of friends. So, I was very out there, even though I was very, even though I was very hyperactive, I still was able to make friends pretty easily. Middle school came around, and I started to get more self-conscious about my weight. I was, started gaining more weight and not growing, at least
height-wise?
And height-wise. And so I think I was about almost 200 pounds in middle school as a sixth grader. Mind you, as a sixth grader, I was almost 200 pounds and I was 5'2". So I was just whoa, I was big. But,
little chunky.
The little chunky boy. But I kind of mellowed out there because I got more self-conscious, 6th through 8th grade. I used to wear this, you can even ask my sister, but I used to wear the same pajamas, the same pants a lot. I think I had 2 or 3 pairs, but I would wear them every day because I was so self-conscious, and they were sweatpants, so they were bigger.
Fancy.
So it kind of
You're stinky, huh?
Yeah, I was told I was, not by my friends or not by anybody in school, but I was told that I was,
by Valeria, your
stinky.
sister.
Yeah. And so after 6th to 8th grade, I kind of mellowed out. And then once I got into high school, I went to a different high school, right? So we had one school, Plymouth Middle School, which I went to, and then we had Armstrong, which was right next door. And 90% of the kids went to Armstrong. But I went to Cooper, which was normally you'd go to Robbinsville Middle School and then you'd go from Cooper. So I literally went with no friends, nobody, until I met my best friend, Carlos, in 9th grade. And then from there, he kind of introduced me to everybody else. But I would say that from high school, I think that's where I learned more about kind of just who I was in a sense. So I would, as far as who I was, I knew I was a straight C student in middle school. But when I went to high school, I kind of started trying a little bit more, and I figured out that it was really easy to get good grades. And so I was straight A high school student I was straight A high school student all the way up until I graduated. But I had 3.9 GPA. And I finished 7th in my class out of 400 people. So I was good academic-wise, but I was just still I think I forgot to mention I was an addicted gamer from elementary school all the way to high school. So that never changed. So for me, it wasn't, if I did something bad, it wasn't grade related or school related. It was just because I wasn't doing my chores. And so normally I'd get my controller taken away, but I'd be kept with my phone. So I'd have my phone, but I'd get my game system taken away. And I was so pissed because it was like, that's how I used to, I used to game all the time. And I guess with that being said, high school kind of taught me, just like there's a lot of different people in the world, a lot of different upbringings. People, have different families at home. They have different values, different ways of viewing life. Some people I were friends with, cared about school a lot, and other people's couldn't care less about school. And then I had friends in between. And I think that shaped me in a way towards like I was very like a well-rounded person, and I like to think that I'm very well-rounded now, where it's like I have a group of friends that are like could kind of mesh with anybody, right? I have friends who, nowadays, like if I wanted a club, I have friends that would go to club, or if I wanted friends just to hang out and chill with, I have those friends. And then like if I wanted like outgoing friends that maybe wanted to do certain things, like I would have that. Now it makes it sound like I have a lot of friends, but all of those are tied within like a couple friends.
Within 4 people.
Them people are they're very well-rounded too. So I think that's why it's kind of like meshed with them. But as far as how school made me, how I am now, I think it's just like I said, very well-rounded, very open-minded, and all sorts like that.
Okay. Nice. I like to hear it. All right, next question is, what has been the most challenging experience in your life, and how did you overcome it?
I would like to say college. So kind of like going back a little bit in high school, I was an overachiever without doing anything, without putting the work behind it. And with that being said, I think college is where it really shit hit the fan, because like I thought, like for me in school, I didn't have to study. I didn't have to worry about, like, homework was easy. I just did it and then boom, it was, 100% done with it. But when college rolled around, man, that was tough. Like I was doing good on the homework, but on the tests were railing me. I remember my first test, I got like a C or a B. I got a B. And then my second test, I got a C. And then my third test, I got a C. And I was just getting C's left and right. And I think, that kind of threw me for a loop. But what was the question again?
What has been the most challenging experience in your life, and how did you overcome it?
And so that, yeah, like doing that kind of really like threw me for a loop. I was just very self-conscious again, or like I had, not self-conscious, but I would say I had like imposter syndrome. Like I felt like I didn't belong and this and that. But like I persisted, I went through, and I ended up getting my diploma. But I think the next thing that was, I wouldn't say it wasn't really hard, and this might make me seem like, weird, but I honestly think that college was harder than like it was like, like leaving my family, I would say. So if you've seen my other video, or our other video with when I was doing Jenny's makeup, I kind of talked about a little bit about my relationship with my mom, or lack thereof. And I don't know, like for me, it's not that hard. Like it wasn't hard cutting her off, but it was like hard leaving my sister and my dog behind, or like the dog at the time. So I had like I had a pit bull. Her name was Mia, and then my little sister, who was, gosh, what was it? 29?
She was at least 9 years old.
She was like 9 or 10, and I left her because I don't know, man. It was a toxic household, and I mean, I don't know. I don't really think back to it. Like I do, but I don't. Like I don't really mind too much like doing that, the action of doing so, because I knew at the end of the day, like I had to put me first. And if you guys know about Hispanic parents, they're very just like old school. Like they only know one thing, and that's just like their way. And obviously, as the world's going, proceeding to develop in different ways, these old school mindsets still stuck, within. Like, we're still instilled within the same people. And so at that point, I was just over it. Like, I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't need any of this. If anything, I was gonna benefit more leaving than I was staying, because it was affecting my relationship with Jenny at the time. And it was just like very childish stuff. Like, you would imagine that coming from me or from like somebody my age then at like 19, 20, but imagine that coming from somebody who's like 30, right? Like, that's childish. And so I had to be the grown up and walk away from the situation. And it was tough at first, but obviously, like, with you there, it kind of was easy. Like, I wasn't the only one going through it, or at least I didn't picture myself being the only one going through it. Like, I had Jenny by my side. So I think that was kind of like the more difficult moment in life. Not really, but kind of really, just because I missed my sister and my dog at the time.
Don't tell them too much, though. If you want to know more about the story, go check out
that video when I did Jenny's makeup.
Yes, it was boyfriend messes up my makeup or something.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Some slight.
All right. What are 3 most important values you live by?
Integrity. So if you guys don't know what that is, that's essentially the, like, if, somebody was talking shit behind your friend's back, you're not gonna join in with it, and 2, you're not gonna stand for it. So that's like one thing that I hold near and dear to my heart that not a lot of people have nowadays, is just the integrity. I guess, like, morals. Like, I have morals where, like, I'll be joking, but I won't go too far as to, like, offend somebody, because at that point it's like, it's not a joke anymore. And I see a lot of people do that. Like, they'll joke about something that they know the other person's very self-conscious about, or working towards, or just, doing something that's different from, others, around them, or just in society. And so that's kind of another one. And then I would say, like being honest. I can't lie. Like, I don't like to lie. Like, a little white lie here and there, for a good cause, but I don't like to lie. Like, I'd just rather be straight up, like, no, I can't, or no, I don't like you, or I don't want to, like, no, I'm not going to hang out, or this and that. So, yeah. Oh, shoot, sorry, yeah. I got to keep painting.
Okay, nice.
This is green, not black. Oh, no, it's black.
All right. Who has been the most influential person in your life, and why? If you have someone.
Influential person in my life. Mm-hmm. This looks so ugly. That's a tough one, honestly. And the reason why I say that is because it's like, I mean, it's not tough. Like, I guess I draw influence from everybody. But the reason why I think it's a tough one is because it's just like the people who I have near me have, like, big flaws themselves. And we're not talking about, like, they're not communicative or this is that. Like, they have some deep ass flaws. And so I feel like even though I can pull some influence from them, maybe it's like kind of like a counter influence, like kind of like what I don't want influenced on me, but what I've learned. So I'd say, like, I guess a little bit like, maybe like my dad, right? Like, he has his own things he has to like go through, but I would say he's been very influential because he's helped me kind of think, kind of be free, but also be, like, responsible. Like, my dad was very open as far as, like, mind you, at like 13, he's like, oh, if you guys are ever drunk at a party at 13, he's like, just feel free to call me. Like, you don't need to worry about X, Y, and Z, and, like, I'd rather you be safe than anything. And I feel like that influenced me in a way because, like, I never was curious. I feel like a lot of people are very, who have strict parents are very curious. So, like, oh, I want to drink, I want to have, I want to fuck around, I want to do drugs. And my dad saying that, like, I was curious about drinking, but, like, him saying that, like, it really kind of just killed the curiosity, where it was like, I'm not gonna get in trouble, like the rebellious curiosity. So there was no reason for me to do it. And so I think he helped me with that. Just kind of like seeing life in a different perspective, right? He still has his own flaws and everything like that, but I pick and choose what I was taking from him, and I try to focus on the positive aspects of it. So I'd say my dad was pretty much like the most influential person in my life, and my uncle too. My uncle is very wise, very smart, and he's very like, as time goes on, like I've been kind of seeing a little bit as far as like what his mindset was and why like other people maybe not would have, or maybe wouldn't have agreed with him in a lot of things. But like as I'm older now, I start to realize, a lot of people think with emotion rather than look at the numbers or look at the analysis of things. And I think that's also helped influence me, as well as, maybe I should stop thinking about things emotionally and start really being more analytical to it, because that's where the real value is. That's where you're going to see the true value of, whatever it is that you're looking at.
All right, next question has to do a little bit more with our relationship. But how do you think we've grown as a couple since we first started dating? Because it's been a while.
Oh yeah, 4 years. I think we've grown in a sense where like we were very childish, and we still have our childish moments, but we were very childish when we met each other. Like I had my issues, she had her issues, and I think as time went on, I feel like not a lot of people do this, but maybe a lot of people do this. But as far as just kind of like self-reflecting, so I like to self-reflect because I like to learn about, why certain things happen, why I act certain ways now. But, as time went on, we started reflecting in ways like financially. We were being dumb financially. I have goals. I don't want to be dumb financially. I want to, be able to inevitably work for myself, or my investments work for me and not have to work or do anything in life. And so with that being said, we changed our mindsets, healthy, like physically. We're eating better now than we were back then. I was at my heaviest back then. She was at her heaviest back then. Now I'm at like my lightest that I've ever been in a while. And Jenny's almost close to her goals. And so I think as time progressed, we started to really focus our energy on who we are, who we want to be, and how we want our relationship to kind of blossom. And so I think we just became a more upgraded version of ourselves, emotionally, intelligently, spiritually, financially, like monetary, or I guess that matches, but like career wise, like we're starting to hone down on things. But we're not there yet, but we're starting to kind of put the habits into play to be where we want to in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of growth for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you regret not doing in your life so far?
Is there anything that I regret not doing? Dude, is this black?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
This shit is like green.
Answer a question.
What'd you say again?
Is there anything you regret not doing in your life so far?
Going to Wrigley Field. Yeah. I really want to go to Wrigley Field.
Why did I think you were talking about some random ass field that your league plays on? I was like, wait, what?
Alright, this is where I throw you away.
What?
This is where I throw you away.
Sorry. Also, I went to put on a sweater on because it got cold. So in case y'all wondering where the fuck my tank top went. Okay, sorry. This isn't about me. Okay. That's it?
This isn't looking black, dude. Look at this shit. This shit does not
You're
look
not
good.
supposed to show them.
It doesn't even look good.
You're supposed to show them the finished product.
Okay, but the black isn't blackened.
The black is not blackened. The black.
The blue.
Black.
It's not blackened.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Next question.
Next question. Okay, well, I think we're done with that. Let's do the borders. let's do the bordas.
Okay.
Okay.
Going back to, our little relationship here, if you have some advice to give to others as far as relationship, challenges, what do you think is the key to overcoming challenges in a relationship?
Comprehension. Not understanding, not talking, but comprehension. Because you need to comprehend why your partner acts the way they do. If they do, say they do piss you off, or say they're acting a different way. You gotta, perception too. You have to kind of step into their shoes and see what could have affected them in a way to, if you guys have an issue, whether, they're butthurt on something, or, they're just mad, or they're crying and you don't know why.
That sounds so backhanded. They're butthurt.
But I mean, it's hard to multitask. So
they're
I would
upset.
say if they're upset, I'd say So I'd say comprehension, like being able to, and perception, being able to feel what you or what happened to them, or what you did as far as why they're upset. I think that's the key thing. I think that's made our relationship stronger, is me putting myself in your shoes to see why most of the time you're upset, or not most of the time, but why you are upset sometimes, or why you act certain ways if I did something. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Some self-growth there.
Some self-growth, exactly.
All right.
God, this is trash. Please don't roast me. After you see this finished product, do not roast me.
What other questions did you question me about? I feel like I went off on a whole tangent, growing, my upbringing and stuff like that. I feel like now I'm just throwing at you different.
No, but I mean, this is another way that you're getting to know me.
Okay, sure.
Other people are getting to know me.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Ooh, that is a great question. I think the legacy I'd want to leave, it kind of feels cliche. It's like everybody else's, where it's you come out of nowhere, or you're something out of nothing. You're self-made. I feel like that's a cliche, but that'd be I don't know, just kind of reinforcing that whole thing that if you have the willpower to do something, that you could do it, just as long as you don't give up, you can achieve essentially whatever you want to do. It's just all about the time, whether you're going to do it now or later, or 10 years down the road or something like that. Ask me it again in another 5 years and I'll have a better answer.
I will. What are your views on marriage and having kids?
Well, I'm all for it. One day, I would like to get married.
But what are your views on today's societies
everybody's got it messed up.
On wanting to have kids at
an early
young age.
I can't say that I wasn't. I can't say that I wasn't that demographic too. I told Jenny when we first started talking, I was I want to have kids early.
He said he wanted to be a young dad.
Yeah.
That's funny to me.
But obviously, I got that was because I was not able to foresee or have any foresight of okay, cool, maybe I can have a career. Maybe I can make my career or something. Maybe I can achieve the goals that I want to achieve. And as time started getting, or as I started, achieving these little small goals that I had set for myself, I kind of realized that if I did have a kid right now, it would be a big setback, because I would have to focus all my time and energy on helping that kid grow and not being able to, essentially do what I want to do.
You grow yourself.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to grow myself. And so I think my views has changed from wanting to be a young dad to wanting to be a dad, a present dad. I think the goal is to not work as I'm there for my kid to grow up. Like, I want to be able to not worry about financial situations, but be there every step of the way for my kid. So I think that's where my views change. Same with marriage too. It's like, I want to be more set up. I want to have my career, or I want to have my dream life before I get married, because I feel like in my eyes marriage has changed from obviously sharing a life with somebody to sharing a life with somebody but like the best life you could give. And so I know that I can achieve that life goal that I want to do. So marriage right now has not been a priority. It's just been, work. And so yeah, that's where my views are. But a lot of people around us and a lot of people in society have it all backwards. They want to have a kid, or they want to get married, then have a kid, then they want to find a job, or they want to buy a house, or they want to do all this and that before they even have the...
And, I mean, to each their own, though. I feel like at the end of the day, like, people have their own route and, whatever they...
That is true, too,
like,
but it's like, if you could hold off on that, you would save yourself so much stress, heartache, and just, like, all types of things that a lot of people who are young and don't have their life together go through. I mean, you tell me a young parent or young parents that were stress-free when they had a kid at a young age. Like, there's probably like less than 1% of them. And so that's the thing. It's like, okay, knowing those numbers, why do I want to put myself in a situation, or why would anybody want to put themselves in a situation? But
100%.
That's just me looking at it from a non-emotional standpoint. Obviously, people want to have kids and want to have babies, and they can't wait, and all that stuff. So yeah, to each their own in that aspect. So that's kind of like my views on marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll be waiting on the ring. Stop doing that fake ass laugh. I'm tired of y'all shit.
I'm tired, Grandpa.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the podcast up just a little bit. Double wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, both personally and professionally?
I think I see myself 5 years. I'm hoping 5 years. That's a good question. With more money. So more assets, not money. I see myself acquiring more assets. I see myself paying off all my debts. School, car. Yeah, school and car. I see us doing better. I see us leaps and jumps ahead of where we are right now. I don't know exactly what it is, and maybe that's something I need to really hone down on, but I think that's where I see myself. But yeah, you probably don't want to see my thing, but this is what it looks like. It's pretty trash, but I don't know, maybe we'll start incorporating this more, and maybe we'll just have a wall collection of these, and this will be our car.
No, not with that kind of painting, sir. I'm just playing with that. We'll put it in your gaming room so that you can stare at it all day.